In a small, quiet town, nestled among tall trees and falling autumn leaves, two teens, Jake and Sara, made their way toward the edge of the forest. The golden light of the setting sun was fading, casting long shadows across the narrow path. Jake, a 14-year-old boy in a red hoodie, held his flashlight firmly, while Sara, a 13-year-old girl with blonde hair tied back, followed cautiously behind. Sara glanced nervously at Jake, her voice a whisper. "Sara, are you sure about this, Jake? That house feels wrong." Jake, "Come on, Sara. We've come this far. Don't chicken out now. There's nothing to be scared of." But there was something different about this night, something that made the forest seem darker and the air colder. As they neared the forest edge, the towering trees seemed to close in on them. There it stood, an old, dilapidated house, its windows broken, the wooden porch rotting and creaking with every gust of wind. Jake stepped forward, while Sara stayed a few paces behind, her eyes wide with fear. The front door creaked open slowly, the sound cutting through the silence. From the shadows, Mr. Hargrave emerged. He was a tall, thin man, his face gaunt, and his gray hair hanging in loose strands. His eyes were cold, piercing. "Mr. Hargrave, you shouldn't be here. The forest keeps its secrets, and not all are meant to be found." Sara, "Jake, let's go! Please!" But Jake wasn't ready to leave. He stepped forward, shining his flashlight toward Mr. Hargrave. Suddenly, from the forest behind the house, something began to stir. A shadow, a dark, formless entity, creeping across the ground and twisting around the trees. It was as if the darkness itself had come alive, and with it came a faint, chilling whisper. The shadow twisted unnaturally as if drawn toward them. "Jake, what is that?" The light from Jake's flashlight did nothing to stop it. The shadow seemed immune, its presence growing closer, more menacing with each passing second. Sara stepped back, fear rising in her chest. "Sara, Jake, we need to go! Now!" The realization hit them both at the same time. They had to escape. Without hesitation, Jake and Sara turned and bolted through the dark forest. The whispering shadow was right behind them, twisting and slithering, moving faster than they could ever imagine. The trees blurred in their vision, their footsteps pounding against the dirt. All the while, the whispering continued, like voices from the darkness calling to them. "Jake, run, Sara! Don't look back!" But she did, and what she saw made her heart freeze. The shadow was almost upon them. They burst from the forest, stumbling onto the familiar porch of their home. Their hearts pounded, and their breaths came in ragged gasps. The night was quiet again, but the chill in the air, the whispering, lingered. "Sara, is it over?" "Jake, I don't know, but I think it's still out there." They had escaped, for now, but the whispering shadows were still out there, waiting, lurking, ready to return.